Hello, this is a video to help support our idea of creating data and sending it to a file. When working with files, there are some ideas to remember. You have to create or open the file. You also fill it with data, stuff with data. And when you're done, you close the file. So, first thing I want to do is open up a file. However, when I create this main program, I don't really get that for free. So what I'm going to do is there's a library called, there's a header file called FileStream, and then it has this thing for output, out file stream. Out file stream, and I'm going to make use of that in my program. Also, there's a possibility that I try to open a file and things don't work out right, and I just might want to quit the entire program. So I'll introduce you to this command exit. We can put in any number we want in here. It abruptly ends our program. This stands for C++ Standard Library, as you might have guessed. So, to open up our file, we use the word output file stream, ofstream, and we give it a name. I didn't give it a very important and cool name here, but I'm going to call it outfile. And notice I pre-typed this stuff. It's a variable for our output file. I guess that's redundant. Next, this says, yeah, I want to get an output file, but I don't really have one yet. No. So I need the name of a file that I would like to create. So what I'm going to do is use another feature in C++ to use a string. If you go to the top, I'm adding this library header string. It'll allow me to create a very sophisticated string that I can play with more easily than something more traditional like a char star. So here I say string, and I'm going to call it file name, and I'm going to say the file name equals numbers, because I'll stuff this full of numbers, .text, semicolon. So this is a string, standard string, but I'm going to stuff it inside this sophisticated creature. I'm putting this standard string inside this creature called a string. Next, I'm going to go to outfile, and I'm going to ask outfile something. I'm going to put a period right here, and suddenly all these features opened up. And there's one particular thing I want to do. I want to open the file. I could look for the word open or type the letter O, P, and you can see it'll start to appear. E, if I could spell E, open. And I say file name. File name. Now, when I say file name, however, it's not going to give me this. It's going to give me this creature. So I got to ask file name. File name, go inside and get me the character string. This is a built-in function. We'll learn about how to write these on our own later in the semester. And it will go into this creature and pull a copy of this out so that I have access to it right here. So out file, I'm asking it to open up a file whose name is number text. Great. What if it didn't work out? If it didn't work out, I'm going to have to take some action. Just because I asked the system to open a file doesn't mean it's going to happen. So I'm going to check if it's successful. Give me a moment to clean up my own code. All right, I want to check if it is successful. To do that, I'm going to go to Out File and ask it. There's that period. Ask it, is it open yet? And it'll be yes or no, true or false. And this exclamation point means no, it was not open. If it was not open, I will come here. Notice it's an if statement, and I'll use the cout error, and it will print the word file to make that look more serious. File, the name of the file. Now, why didn't I convert this to a C string? I could have, but CERR knows how to work with this monster. This monster is overloaded to work with this, basically. I'll display the name of the file and tell the user it failed to open, and then skip a line. And then I will shut down the system. Well, not the system, my app. Here's the exit right up there. And I can pass along any number I like. I'm just adding 0 because what the heck, 0. So now, if everything is successful, the file has either been created or opened. The name of it is numbers text. This checks to make sure it's done. And now I'm up to the point where I could stuff it full of data. How do you stuff it full of a file full of data? Well, I'm going to do this. There's a number of ways. I'm going to do it the simplest way. I'm going to stuff it full of numbers. I'm going to say for integer I equals 0. I say less than 10. I'm going to stuff it with 10 numbers. I plus plus. Watch how hard this is. I'm joking. Fill it. It looks just like cout. Cout and CERR both use this insertion operator. It's done on purpose. So we're no longer using standard output like this. We're going to send it to a file. I'm just going to send I to the file. And every time I send an I, I'm going to put a comma after it. Like that. So it's very simple. And then when I'm done sending my data, I'm going to say out file dot and close the file. I usually just type the word in. I just let it sit there so you could see it. So what have we done? In our main program, we created a file, we hope. We checked to see if the file was successfully created. If not, we show the name of the failed name, shut down the system with a comment. We could do other options, but here I'm just shutting it down. Now that I've gotten to this point, line 21 here, I can stuff it full of data. I could use anything I want, multiple loops, equations, x's and y's. I'm just filling this thing full of data. And when I'm done, I close the file. Now what I'm going to do, save this, compile and check. Well, compile and link. So I'm going to build it. Hopefully I have no typos. No typos. And I'm going to run the file. Run. No messages printed out. Everything is sent to, let's go over here. You'll see it's all sent to the file. And it just closes. Not the greatest program. But where's our file? Well, what I'm going to do now, go to File. Whoops. Go here. Right click. Add a file. So I can see it. And there is numbers.txt when I typed add a file. Let me do that again, slow motion. And tell you I'm right clicking. Where am I right clicking? On the name of my project. Add files. That's the one I just did. How do I know? There's its name, numbers text. Open. Yes, keep it in the project. Why not? Click here, then you see the file. I'll double click on it. And let's see if I can bring this down. some lag because I'm running a video camera in here. All right, so here I said from 0 to 10, not including 10. Notice it's less than 10. And I see 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's I and a comma. Now, I don't like this comma appearing at the end, so do something fancy. What I'm going to do is I'm going to ask a question. I say I, let's see if I can do this. If I is less than n minus 1, that is 0 through 9, then send the character comma, else send a space. So what will this do? If I typed it correctly, it'll say, take a look at I. Is I less than 9? If yes, this whole thing will become a comma. If no, it will become a blank space. Let's compile it. And I have a typo in here somewhere. The easiest thing to do might be hit F2. Oh, I use N. I never use numbers like this. I would just use the letter N. And I would say constant integer N is 10. Set up a constant. Yeah, sorry about that. It's run. Double click on this. Yes, reload it. I said reload it. Don't know why it's not appearing. Oh, there it is. It appeared down here. I forgot I changed the format. So here it is. And you say, well, I didn't see that. So what I'll do is I'll change the, instead of a blank, I'll use a dash. I'll get rid of this. Compile. Run. Double click. And there you see the last character is now, instead of a blank space, it's the minus sign or dash. Trying to verify or show you that it does work. Now here's something interesting that you might like. What if I tried to open up this file and add data to it and the file was locked? Somehow I couldn't do it. I'm going to come over here, right click this, right click the name of the file, numbers.txt, go down to properties, and I'm going to say you can't change it. I'm going to say file is read only. So now I'm going to try and run the program. It's already compiled. I just have to run it. Notice it now says file numbers.txt failed to open because I locked this program. I'll unlock it. Right click, properties. It is no longer read only. Run the program, and there are no problems. Except I need to recompile it. Then I'll get rid of that minus sign. Minus sign gone. Now, there's something interesting. Every time I run this, it sort of gets rid of the old one. You do have an option. You could put an option in here. Like, let's see, open mode APP. Oh, yeah. iOS, APP. This means go to the input-output system, go inside, find the constant called append. It actually stands for the word append, and that means just keep adding things on. So now when I compile the program, Program's compiled with this new feature. And I say run. And I say run. And I say run. I go back and look at this file. And each time I say run, instead of creating a new program, it just continues to stack them one after another. For observe, watch. I will now get rid of that thing by commenting the section out. Compile and run. And if I look, it's by itself now. All right, I hope that was a useful program. And again, we open a file here. We then check to see if we were successful, take action if need be. Then we stuff it full of data, any data, it's our choice. And when we're done, we close the file.